evening. Caller 2115, please, he said, the sound of rustling in the background adding a distant ambience to his words. Hello, I need to see you. Lately, my thoughts have been consumed by you, and I can't sleep. I find myself searching for you everywhere, eagerly waiting. Please call me, let's meet. My number is 365 to 1597. I'll be waiting. Is that all? The voice on the other end asked. Yes, please duplicate this message. Consider it done. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, he replied, gently placing the receiver back on the lever. As he did, a heavy sigh escaped him. Staring at his reflection in the window pane, he saw a tall, athletic figure with dark hair and slightly careless bangs covering his eyes. Handsome yet haunted by a tinge of selfishness. Regret washed over him. What have I done to her? What did I do? He paced the room, lost in his memories. Every object in the apartment seemed to remind him of her. Why didn't I notice before? He wondered. He recalled her standing by the window, leaning on the sill, and smiling at a funny, fluffy cloud floating away. Her unique smile, one that reached her eyes and touched his heart like no other. She saw the beauty in every moment, he thought. She cherished them with all her heart. A fluffy kitten entered the room, resembling her in the most endearing way. Memories of her comforting him in times of sadness flooded back. She had a way of convincing him that everything would be all right, and he believed her. The phone remained silent, causing an ache in his heart. She valued honesty, and he knew he had let her down. There were times he forgot the warmth of her touch and the brightness of her smile when he went away for a few days. I got carried away, he admitted, realizing he hadn't appreciated her as he should have. In that moment, he vowed to change, to be worthy of her love once again. The young man decided to call her back, to make amends and to treasure every moment they had together, just as she always had. He knew he couldn't lose her, not now that he understood the depth of her impact on his life. I betrayed her, and upon my return, I made the decision to keep it hidden, thinking she wouldn't discover the truth. I chose to deceive her, believing I could get away with it. However, her delicate and perceptive soul sensed that something was amiss. In her intuition as a woman, she knew it was infidelity. When she questioned me, her eyes searched mine, delving into my soul, but I couldn't bring myself to confess. I attempted to lie, but she saw through my words. If I had only been honest, if I had come clean, she might have forgiven me. She left quietly, and I felt remorse for the pain I caused her. I wrote a note apologizing for my actions and didn't deny my affair. I left it at her door without speaking to her, fully aware she was home. Eventually, I convinced myself that she wasn't deserving of me and tried to move on. Life became a whirlwind of distractions with music, beer, and various amusements. Initially, I tried to rationalize and make excuses for the other girl, but as time passed, I yearned more and more to see my ex-girlfriend. I longed to catch a glimpse of her, even in passing, on the street or in a store, just to look into her enchanting silver-rimmed eyes. One day, the phone rang abruptly, and it was her. I remembered I had left a message on her pager, asking her to call. As we spoke, I discovered something shocking. The pager she owned had a tragic history. The person who sold it to her had mentioned that the previous owner, a girl, had recently passed away after being hit by a car. The news hit me like a tidal wave, enveloping me in darkness and despair. I felt suffocated, unable to speak or breathe, burdened by the weight of my guilt and regret. In that moment, I realized how foolish I had been to let go of someone so precious. The room filled with an eerie silence. only broken by the humming sound. The kitten climbed into my lap, seeking comfort, and I absent-mindedly stroked its soft fur, trying to find solace. But the warmth of the little creature only accentuated the profound coldness that enveloped my heart and soul. Tears welled up within me, freezing in the depths of my being, as I mourned the loss of what I had, and what I had foolishly let slip away. A white furry bird with silver-rimmed eyes, my once beloved, who was now forever out of reach. The kitten purred and wiggled, its eyes filled with hope and tenderness as it looked at him. An overwhelming feeling consumed the man's soul, an indescribable weight on his shoulders comprising all sorrow, pain, loneliness, and emptiness. It was as if he was trapped in a silent movie, where cherished memories of a wonderful time with her swirled before his eyes. She lived in those memories, her smiles, frowns, earnest gestures, and joyful laughter that warmed his heart. He wished to reach out to her, but reality weighed heavily on him, keeping him from reaching out. Late into the night, he couldn't find rest. He opened the window, letting the frosty air in, and broke his promise not to smoke. He made a decision to visit her parents and brother in the morning, needing to know where she was now. As he stood by her door, he reminisced about all the times they had spent together, the happy moments and shining eyes that he cherished dearly. Deciding to visit places they frequented, he crunched through the fresh snow on the ground, thinking about the snowball fights and appointments they made. The girl's laughter echoed nearby, but it wasn't her, and the realization brought bitterness and immense pain. Sitting on a bench, he smoked, revisiting the conversations they had, and gazing at the familiar streetlights that illuminated the way to the alley they loved. Tears streamed down his face as he leaned against a tree, his heart and soul in agony. In the distance, a girl approached, walking slowly under the glowing streetlights. He couldn't face her or explain anything to anyone in his current state. She spoke to him, mentioning the promise he made to quit smoking. The cigarette slipped from his trembling hand, falling onto the snowy ground, still glowing. In that moment, a glimmer of hope appeared, like a beacon of happiness. The girl's silver-rimmed eyes stood before him, smiling slightly, giving him comfort and reassurance. Whispering with a sense of relief, he realized that it was an operator's mistake, and that her presence was real, not just a dream. He felt blessed to have her back, even in memories, and he held onto the hope of being together once again.
Thank you for watching. I hope it was interesting. See you in the next story. Goodbye.